Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we're talking about something that makes me happy, that makes me laugh, and sometimes makes me cry, but in a good way. It is The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
And the crowd goes wild. Yes. And we're, yeah, where's your... Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Trial. First, I thought that was your cat in heat that was making that noise. Okay.
Oh my goodness! Never mind. I'm not going to say it. I sound like a cat in heat. That's really bad. Thank you, Teresa.
Yeah, this is what happens when the Vikings asleep, so it's ladies' night or ladies' night. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello. Before I introduce my guests, I want to introduce my chat. Yay! It's Sort of Poopus. We love our polar bears here. We love Keck44. Thank you for being here. Pete Cat, yay! Yeah, Roar. Who else is here? Sandra Feliciano. Yay! Reggie here, and who else is here? Oh, yeah, Ready.
Oh, we know that face. Hey!
Yeah. Okay, that's it. So far we only have one animal in the chat. All right. Well, at least I'm not a polar bear in heat.
Oh boy, that would be scary.
I have no. You know what? Everybody, Google. We need to find that YouTube.
Oh dear.
Okay, the chat's starting off just like we like it. Okay, we're going right down the tubes, right off the bat.
Okay, and we have, of course, here on my panel, we have all the way from I don't know where, Princess Rennie.
Hey, Teresa, thank you so much for having me on. As you know, I love Tolkien, and this is my favorite book out of the three, even though I know it's technically one book, but still my favorite part. So excited to be here. So thank you.
Excellent. And all the way from Mirkwood, we have Lady Toriel herself.
Yay, I'm hiding behind the bushes and the trees and lurking. So, hey, and sounding like strange animals. So, yeah, you got it there, guys. I'm really happy to be on. Hopefully, we'll all have a good time, lots of laughs, and great book. So,
yeah.
You guys, it's so great to talk about stuff that we love. It's so great. And it's so uplifting.
Yeah, exactly. And people just like getting to enjoy or maybe be even inspired to maybe pick up these books again and reread them. That's loads of fun. And if anyone in the chat is wondering, where is the Viking? The Viking is currently hibernating in a very cold climate. So we wish him well.
Actually, we hit him over the head. We tied him up and we threw him in a closet. Okay.
Did we?
Well, that escalated quickly.
Did you tell him to rub the lotion on his skin, or else he gets the hose again?
Don't you hurt my dog? Don't you make me hurt your dog?
He said, "Get off my lawn one too many times and see what happens." Yeah.
There you go. Well, Sort of Poopus, our resident polar bear, says, "I'm too old for that. Let me sleep." Oh my god.
Sad face.
Okay, and we have Zake Rot 315. Thank you. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Thank you for being here for our discussion of The Two Towers. Snorta Poopa says no Stig puns today. Well, that is true. There are no Stig puns, but there might be other puns. Who knows? Hey, is there a cat in here? A hail peacat. Oh, peacat. Okay. So technically we have only one confirmed animal in our chat today, but some marvelous other people. Well, we are going to start where we left off last week. We were talking about Treebeard. Oh my gosh. Some very, very disturbing Treebeard things. We actually talked about some very deep discussion. Wait, gosh.
Yeah. We were talking about wood. Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. I'm digging myself a deeper hole, aren't I?
Oh dear.
Well, we really did. We got into the history of the wizards and the lore of the Ents and the Endwise. We got into the story of I don't know, the whole int thing and why they fell asleep and why they woke up. Oh dear, Snorta Poopa says we need to be punished. Of course we do. Hey, look at Shane Nolan all the way from the Emerald
Shane.
Isle. Hello, Shane. Hello, Winnie was promoted to princess. Sounds about right. Aw, that's lovely.
Aw.
He's the
Okay.
sweetest.
Yay. So everyone's saying hi to each other.
Okay.
Oh, look, we have
Oh.
OG Star Wars. Hello, ladies. Want to swing by say hello before I hit the hiking trail? Hey, well done. Well done. We approve of hiking trails. Here,
Hi,
yes, we do.
OG.
Hey,
Yeah.
OG.
Yay, Laura. And welcome to Bobby Campbell, a.k.a. He jumped on the chat. Where'd he go? There he is. Bobby Campbell, a.k.a. The Oracle. Everyone, we're at 19 days till Thanksgiving. Yes, we are. Next week. Yes, we are. Lots of turkey and stuffing, and apparently it's
Oh my
going to cost
goodness.
3 times as much. Yay!
Yeah, that's what
Woo.
I'm hearing. It's like, wait a minute, what are you having? I'm having chicken. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
started doing my Thanksgiving shopping yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so scared of waiting until like the week before, you know?
No, I hear you. I've never been into the whole Thanksgiving, like actually cooking for it. I'm a firm believer in getting it from, I don't know, Kroger and deliver it.
Are you ordering, Teresa? Is that what you're trying to say? You order
I
it?
have in the past. I will say that I have done it in the past, but actually, there is a French bakery that I've also gotten it from as well. But this
Ooh.
year, I'm going to be spending it with this.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, very nice. Yeah, it smells very, very French. But now my folks, I'm going to be spending it with my folks, but they have actually already ordered it because I guess once you hit 70, you're like, screw it, you know. So so we're all looking forward to that. Everyone is saying hi to each other. We all are very friendly here at Miss Mart Muses. We are very friendly, and sometimes I guess I should say we are a little bit too
Over
friendly.
the top.
All right, I'm gonna edit this. It's like, what are your favorite ghost movies? Oops, that is not the topic today. The topic today is chapter 5 of the Two Towers, where we get the return of not the king, but
The wizard.
Gandalf.
Yes.
Yeah, the
A
return of the wizard,
wizard.
the White Rider. Chapter 5 of the Two Towers, if you are following along. I love this opening. Gimli goes, my bones are chilled. My very bones. It's like, he must live in Norway too. Okay.
Yeah. There
Right.
you go.
Well, and they're wandering around in the woods. And they think it's going to be Saruman, right? Yeah, it's like, what's going
Yeah.
on? Yeah,
Yeah.
they you know, it's
Beware
like,
the white wizard, so to speak,
Wizard.
you know?
Yes.
yeah. And to be fair to them, that was completely logical because Saruman did go around in white, though it'd gotten kind of dirty and he was called Saruman of many colors. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because he was the head of the order.
Yes.
yeah.
So, yeah.
And then he sucked.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is the old man, all in dirty gray rags. Aragorn looked and beheld a bent figure moving slowly. And Gimli goes, "You're Bo Legolas! Bend it! Get ready!
Get him!
Bend it like Beckham, apparently."
Get him.
Poor Tolkien. He didn't know what kind of dirty minds we'd all be getting in the 2000s. He's sitting there smoking his pipe in Oxford going, "What's wrong with you?"
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's sitting there going, "Well met, I say again. Pray take your hand away from your axe." Oh gosh, it's just so funny. And then finally, Gimli goes, "Saruman!" cried Gimli. "Speak! Tell us where you have hidden our friends. Dun, dun, dun. And then Legolas gave a great shout and shot an arrow high into the air. Mithrandir, he cried. Mithrandir, as his white garment shone. And then he goes, well met, I say to you again, Legolas. It's like, yeah, thank you, Gandalf. Thank you very much. Very.
Thanks for remembering me, man.
Yeah, it's like you. And they're like, you jerk. What the hell is going on here? So when you first read these books, everybody, what did you think about Gandalf coming back from the dead, essentially?
I mean, I loved it personally because, you hate that. I hated the part where, he died, so to speak, in, the fellowship. So him coming back was awesome. But when you're reading this chapter and you don't know what's going on, you're like, oh crap, they're gonna get totally owned by Saruman, and you just know he's gonna destroy them. And so they have to act quickly, and it's like, oh wait, that's not Saruman. And so I love it, but I do think it's interesting that he does say basically he kind of is Saruman as he should have been, but not really. I don't know. I think that's an interesting line, and that always gets me every time. So, whenever he first meets them again, it's like he's meeting them for the first time because he has to remember who he is because he's coming back as a different, to me, like kind of like a semi-different entity, so to speak.
Yeah.
So he doesn't remember his old ways, and they remind him. And I think that's so cool that it finally starts coming back.
Yeah, absolutely, because he had been to death and back. Charles Cuber said he's back, he's white, and he's loaded for ore. Oh my gosh. Well, you heard it here first. Oh, speaking of being heat, there we go. We've got a cat in heat. You see, we love our animals here on Miss Martin Muses.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. It's like I'll try to mute, but I can't always guarantee when that's going to happen.
Now, I'm assuming that's a female cat in heat back there?
Yes, but she's fixed. And see, that's the bad part about it. She's fixed, but she's still...
Really? I didn't think they could have heat cycles when they're fixed. Maybe they didn't... That's weird. She
just thinks she just thinks she does. Okay, it's like I'm luxurious, I'm cute. What's not to like about me? It's like, okay, God.
It's like, all right then.
Well, you heard it here first. The cat's gonna be in heat, I guess. Well, in any case, I love this though. He laid hand on Gimli's head. The dwarf looked up. Gandalf, he said, but you are all in white. Well, thank you, Captain Obvious. And Gandalf said, yes, I am white now. And a meme was born. Yeah. And then he says, indeed, I am Saruman. One might almost say Saruman as he should have been. Okay, Lady Toriel, what do you think about all this? Or maybe she's off dealing with the cat. Okay, sorry.
No, I'm right here. It's just I muted for a while, so you don't have to listen to that I have to listen to. I loved it because it makes you cry when Gandalf is gone because he's the one that actually has pulled their butts out of a fire many a time, and you're thinking, oh my God, we're gone. How are these people gonna survive? They all are experts, but yet it was Gandalf who was basically leading them through the trials.
Yeah.
And then to find out he comes back, I'm going, yay.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like he was their voice of reason,
Go ahead,
so to speak? I'm so sorry, Toriel.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no,
she's having trouble. She's hearing a yowling cat. Interference.
Well, no,
yes,
sometimes you get lag
good.
and you feel bad for, interrupting somebody when it's like lag. But
I know, and I lag all the time. I was very happy, but then you see, like, when he does come back, like you were saying, Rennie and Teresa, that he's like a totally different person, and he's having to remember he became a white, so you feel like everything that came before was washed away, and then he had to be reminded, because it was like, oh yeah, I was called Gandalf. I was. And then he says, this is the way Saruman should be.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever he was, and whoever he talked to at the time out in the ether, they do remember parts where he was sent back because of what Saruman has done, I think. He may not
Yeah,
have come back if Saruman was as he should have been.
I
And
agree
I
with that.
always wondered about that, because it was like, oh, so they sent him back to take Saruman's place because Saruman has turned evil.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Matt Wilkins is in the house. Just like Gandalf, my gray will turn white one day. Well, there you go. Yeah. What were you going to be saying there, Princess Rennie?
Well, I just always felt like Gandalf was kind of like I agree with everything that Lady Toriel just said, but I also believe he was kind of like the voice of reason for the group.
Yeah.
I don't know if that always translated in the movies, but in the books, I feel like it did. Not only was he, typically the most powerful or protective person, but it's like, he displayed what we all think of as wizards. Wizards are supposed to be wise, and he exhibited a lot of wisdom. And like, in the book, like the Fellowship, he did not want to, or no, he did want to go into Moria, and Aragorn didn't want to, but his reasoning for going in there was different. It was, to avoid Saruman, and he was trying to be wise, and he's always trying to reason with the group as to, well, I think this is the smart thing to do, or I think we should plan this or plan that. And he was a great strategist. And, I think we lose sight of that sometimes whenever we look at, he's so powerful or he's doing this or that. And it's like, well, he's also like, showing wisdom.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he was also the guiding hand behind the scenes, because he was always strategizing or telling anyone the strategies. It's like, we need to go here or we
Yeah.
need to go there. He was setting up stuff. And Matt, by the time you move, your gray might be white. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, and before they decide to go on to Edoras, because Gandalf says, nah, the hobbits are fine. Yeah, that's fine. We need to go to Edoras. And they were, okay. But then he goes, Legolas goes, hey, before we go, why don't you tell us what the heck happened? And Gandalf goes into the whole big detail about how he fought the Balrog and all that, and all sorts of crazy stuff happened. And after he threw down his enemy, then darkness took me, and I strayed out of thought and time, and I wandered far on roads that I will not tell. I was thinking, I will not tell, because Tolkien's sitting there going, I don't know what the hell happened, but it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
But check this out. Naked, I was sent back for a brief time until my task is done. And naked, I lay upon the mountaintop. So he is literally being born again, if you will. He's like a babe. He's naked as a babe. And
Yeah.
falling out of life and time. And then so at last, Gwaine here, the Wind Lord, found me again, and he took me up and bore me away. Now, who the hell is this guy? You all know about him? Gwaine here, the Wind Lord.
Isn't he an eagle?
I do believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, yeah. So the eagle did make an appearance at this time. I don't think they did that in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
Mm-mm.
And I think it's cool how they
No.
explain how he actually got his white garb, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't tell you that in the movie. And I just thought that was so cool that, he got it from Lothlorien and, it's really neat.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I've also thought it was interesting that as he's flying up with him, ever am I fated to be your burden, friend at need, Gandalf said. A burden you have been, he answered, but not so now. Light as a swan's feather in my claw you are. Indeed, I do not think you need me anymore. Were I to let you fall, you would float upon the wind.
yeah.
So he is literally like got some supernatural thing. A little bit of the whole Jesus, he died and was raised again and has like these new powers, if you will, this glorified body that doesn't seem to have the same rules of nature that he did when he was more bound to the 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 Gandalf the Grey kind of a thing.
Yeah. He's more powerful, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's what it tells me. It's like, hey, you could do all this on your own. You could fly on your own. You'd be fine. You don't need me.
Yeah, exactly. So they're also showing that a fundamental change has happened. Snortopoopa says Galadriel took one look at naked Gandalf and said, "Get him a robe. My eyes, my eyes."
Yeah.
I actually completely agree with that. I think that the image in my head with the actor who played Gandalf. Yeah, I would rather die than see Ian McKellen naked. I'm sure
Yeah.
someone else would like to see him, but sure not me. Yeah,
He's definitely not sexy.
yeah.
Great actor, though.
Yeah, well, he's an old dude. Matt Wilkins says, "Did you hear that C.S. Lewis made a connection to Lord of the Rings in his space trilogy?" Tolkien said it's unofficial, just a joke between friends. Uh, I didn't know that specifically, but it does not surprise me because that was definitely something that was between the two of them.
Yeah.
And because Stieg isn't here, let's just pay an homage to another poem.
Oh, no.
While we're at it, the Eagle's like, well, or rather, Gandalf's like, I was bidden to say this to you, Aragorn, blah, 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 blah. Where now are the Dunedain, Elisar, or rather, sorry, it was Galadriel, I believe, that told him to say that to him. And then to Legolas, she sent this. Legolas, Glenleaf, long under tree, enjoy the has lived, beware of the sea, blah, 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 blah. And then Gimli goes, she sent me no message and bent his head. Oh, poor Gimli.
I
He loves his Lady
know.
Galadriel.
He's like, that's my woman. She didn't say anything to me.
She didn't give me a poem. She didn't give me a poem.
That's right.
All right. Well, yes. Snortopoopa says, I don't mind the poems and the songs. I'm a very patient Ursine. Yeah. I actually don't mind them either in the book. I think that they would have been a little bit ridiculous in the movie, and some of the cartoon is like, yeah, this is a little bit silly. I think it worked because it was a cartoon when they had all of them, but yeah. Many people side with Stieg on that point.
Yeah, it's hard to translate that into like a movie or whatever because then you feel like the whole world is like a musical. So I understand that.
Yeah. But before Gimli could go and jump off of a cliff, he's like, actually, she did say, to Gimli, son of Gloin, give his ladies greetings. Lock bearer, wherever thou goest, my thought goes with thee, but have a care to lay thy axe to the right tree.
Oh,
Like, yeah, I love you too, Galadriel. All right, there we go. Yeah, so
it's so cute.
I know. Yeah. Though there's a little part of me that wants to say, dude, she's married. You do realize that.
Yeah, well, Yeah, which is true, but she never really reciprocates, the way that, he feels, but I think she empathizes and maybe like, I think it's really sweet that he cares for me, but I can't give him what he seeks, but she gives him kindness in its stead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, and we all know it was innocent. It was very much a little bit of that whole chivalry thing.
Yeah. Well, remember, I think was it Gimli and Legolas that got in a fight where he was like Legolas, like Gimli said something to Legolas, like she was the fairest maiden of all the lands, and I don't remember the exact verbiage. And Legolas is what, like, I think it was actually this person. I think he said Luthien, and they kind of got in a little spat over it, and I thought it was like the cutest thing. And
Aw.
I
Yeah.
can't remember where it said that, but it just cracked me up.
Yeah, it might be in Two Towers or Return of the King, but yes, I do recall that.
It was so cute.
Yeah. Okay, Matt Wilkins says there were 5 wizards that entered Middle Earth: Gandalf, Saruman, Radagast, and 2 blue wizards who had their own mission. Lewis indicated one of those blue wizards was the one used in this trilogy. Well, there we go. Oh, Matt says, wait, we get to trash talk Steeg here? Okay, let me put on my burn cap. Well, as I've told you on many occasions, I always tattletale. Steeg always knows what you say to him when he's not here.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
He goes back. He goes back and checks. Yes, he does.
He'll get you back, man. He'll get you back.
Yeah, he will. Matt Wilkins says Tom Bombadil will get his jollies off on Steeg while quoting poetry.
Oh my god.
Okay, are you hearing that? Steeg's gonna wake up and be, I had a disturbance in my dream. As though there was some evil will being sent upon me. Sort of Poopa says, shut your noise, you, and get that suit on, and no singing. She does have a message for Gimli. At first, he was just feeling sad for himself, but yeah, she had a nice thing to say to him. Gadfly Fiction, thank you for being here. He says it's a rendition of the custom of courtly love that was prevalent throughout a lot of the Middle Ages. You see, I told you. Great minds think alike. Yay. Sort of Poopa says the blue wizards went to Norway where they became even more.
We're blue.
Oh my gosh. This chat is on fire, man.
On fire. We're the best chat ever. Oh my gosh. Shane Nolan says Gimli and Éomer Return of the King, Galadriel versus Arwen. Okay, there we are. Yeah, it was in Return of the King. Yes.
Oh, it was Arwen. Okay. I couldn't remember if it was Arwen or Luthien. I know it was like a dark-haired elf, but yeah, it was so cute.
One of those chicks.
And that's kind of how you knew that they were friends, because they could bicker and argue like that, but they were still friends,
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute.
Yeah. And after they all say, yay, okay, we're all cool now, time to go to Edoras, along comes Shadowfax.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. One thing they don't tell you in the movie is Shadowfax was Theoden's horse. So Gandalf stole Theoden's horse. It's so funny in the book.
Well, he had it coming, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what he gets for being taken over by Saruman. But
it's a whole warm tongue thing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Hello, Keely Chow. Thank you for being here. Matt Wilkins says, Lord of the Rings pickup line. I've got more wood than Treebeard, baby. Uh-oh. Looks like Lady Toriel gave into the temptation and put on the ring. Hopefully she will be returning.
Oh, no.
Take that ring off. That way the eye. What was it? Frodo was me. The eye is upon me. What am I gonna do?
Can you just hear Sauron's voice? You cannot hide. I see you.
I see you. Oh gosh, Gandalf loves to ride bareback. Holy moly!
Holy crap!
Okay. Well,
Oh,
while
dear.
we're waiting for Lady Tariel to quit being seduced by the power of the ring, we're going to look a little bit into Shadowfax and Gandalf the White from Tolkien's letters. Oh, there she is. She decided to take off the ring. That was a good choice, Lady Toriel.
Yes, I'm having the same problem that Rennie had last week.
It's contagious. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Okay. We're getting dirty in the chat. Arthur Stephen Walton. Did someone say wood? Matt Wilkins tells Snortopoopas his wand flapping in the wind as he
Oh,
rides.
dear.
Snortopoopas, I saw I's a bad bear. Shane Dillon says the greatest horse name in fiction. Well, thank you,
Put that
Shane, for
robot
keeping
on.
it mature.
Quit flapping in the wind. Yeah.
The answer, my friend, is
Just so you guys
flapping.
know, the wizards here don't have wands; they have staffs. Just
That's
saying.
true. Yeah. This isn't that Harry
Yeah.
Potter crap. Oh, P-Cat says, weird seeing a Panama drop off, and it's not Rennie A.
I know, right?
Yeah, everyone's saying hi to each other, or apparently hailing. Okay, we went back to Rome, I guess, or the Lords for the Rosary group. Okay, I'm glad that everyone's really happy, because we are happy people here at Miss Martin Muses. We are happy people. Oh, I think that did I say that thing about Stephen Walton about did someone say would? Apparently, I guess that's a joke. Though Stephen Walton is not here to defend himself, so I'm going to call it potentially fake news. Fake news. Okay, Matt Wilkins says, Rennie, tell us more about Gandalf's staff. Well, it's long, it's tall, it's hard,
It's a lot of wood.
It's a lot of wood.
Teresa.
Hey, get your mind out of the gutter. Get your mind out of the gutter. I am just saying it is fact. These are facts I'm saying. Tech 44 says staff envy. Well, it's a thing. It's a thing. All right.
It's the fact, just the fact.
Yeah. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Okay, we're going to get a little more intellectual here. This is from Tolkien's letter. If you have his complete letters, it is on page 201 and in letter 156 to Robert Murray. And it is so important. I wrote all over this page. And Stieg, once again, from somewhere in Norway, is very, very
shame.
Yeah.
Shame, Teresa, shame.
There is nothing wrong with writing in a book if you are making notes.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. This is what he says about what happened with Gandalf. Gandalf really, quote unquote, died and was changed. For that seems to me the only real cheating to represent anything that can be called death as making no difference. I am Gandalf the White, who has returned from death. Probably he should have said to Wormtongue, I have not passed through death to bandy crooked words with a serving man, and so on. I might say much more, but it would only be in perhaps tedious elucidation of the mythological ideas in my mind. It would not, I fear, get rid of the fact that the return of Gandalf is, as presented in this book, a defect. So he's actually a little bit disturbed by it because he almost feels like he's cheating.
Yeah.
But he's also saying, but he was actually truly sage.
Yeah.
But a change, rather.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on to maybe justify to himself. He says, but Gandalf is not, of course, a human being.
No, he's a supreme being, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. And then he goes on, I would venture to say that he was an incarnate angel, quote unquote. That is, with the other Istari wizards, those who know, an emissary from the Lords of the West sent to Middle Earth as the great crisis of Sauron loomed on the horizon. And then by incarnate, I mean they were embodied in physical bodies capable of pain, weariness, and the afflicting of the spirit with physical fear and of being quote unquote killed.
Wow.
Though supported by the angelic spirit, they might endure long and only show slowly the wearing of care and labor.
He really thinks of everything, doesn't he?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So they actually came from the isle and were the embodiment of the good that was sent to counteract the evil.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Another part that I like about Tolkien and getting into his head is I think he's aware of the problematic nature of some of this narratively. And
Yeah.
he's really, really trying to justify it, for lack of a better word. But then again, it does make sense when he explains to this person in this letter that he is another being. So even though he can die, he can't really die. So, and he says it's also that Gandalf alone fully passes the test on a moral plane, for in his condition, it was for him a sacrifice to perish on the bridge in defense of his companions. So, when he did die, even though he came back from the dead, it was a true sacrifice that he did. So, it sucked. And then it
Yeah.
says, so Gandalf sacrificed himself, was accepted, and enhanced and returned. So there we are.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then he says he can
Mhm.
act in an emergency as an angel, like what we see with Theoden, which is coming up.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And can I say hi to Kelvington? Thank you for coming.
Yay.
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 Yeah. So once again, if you want to read more into it, and I could go on for quite a while, he really looks at it from every possible angle, and man versus fallen nature versus elves, etc. And it is letter number 156 to Robert Murray, S.J. S.J. meaning it was actually to a Jesuit. Oh, so no wonder he was being especially self-conscious. He was talking to a Jesuit. It's like, oh, he's like, oh gosh, I better justify this, or else I'm really gonna get screwed. So that is my advertisement for today. And Kelvin King says, hi, Rennie. Thanks for the shout out. Well, thank
Aw.
you for being here. We definitely do appreciate this. And again, if you want to go ahead and buy the letters of J.R.R. Tolkien, edited by Humphrey Carpenter, available on Amazon, you can also go to the index and see a lot of these. All right. So, anything else we
Awesome.
want to say about Gandalf and coming back and Shadowfax and anything in chapter 5?
No, I think you said it pretty well for me. I really need to get on these letters. I think it's really amazing how Tolkien just like goes through and thinks of every freaking detail, man. He basically answers every question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I need to get those too because there's so much more clarification when you hear that through the letters.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself watching the movies and kind of doing like a semi read along in the books, or being like, you know, oh yeah, I forgot that happened, or oh wait, this happened like this? Because I do that sometimes, and I'm just curious if it's just me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that anyone that we want to immerse ourselves as much as we can in this world because it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
And it is a gift to us because it's not often that we have someone like Tolkien who was hanging out smoking a pipe and drinking tea, who had a lot of spare time to answer all of these letters. I also love the letters because, for crying out loud, people are like, oh, who said that? I'm like, Tolkien.
Duh.
Like those dumbasses.
Teresa likes rubbing it in their face. It's like, okay, I'll let you spout on, and then I'll say Tolkien.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a teeny tiny bit off topic. When those dumbasses were like, it was really all Frodo and Sam. It was really all Frodo and Sam. I'm like, well, Tolkien said it was really Sam and Rosie. Ha ha. And they were like, the only reason he didn't have Frodo and Sam was because they weren't allowed to talk about gay people. And it's like, no, Tolkien says he didn't include a lot of the details of the romance, including Aragorn and Arwen, because it wasn't part of the story he was wanting to tell. That's why he put them in appendices.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's hard to understand. And when the proof's in writing, it basically trumps your quote unquote so-called opinions, people. Just saying.
Exactly.
I mean, like,
Yes.
seriously, people are so dumb.
Yeah. Well, I think that they know because these people aren't that stupid. I mean, you can even look online and find out all this stuff. They are willfully ignorant. But we have Snortopupus Cooper saying Tolkien was thinking of Christ to an extent in that respect. The incarnation of a spiritual being. He could feel pain, hunger, and weariness, and he could die. Yes. It was a mix between an angel and Christ. Because when Christ came back, when the Lord came back in his resurrected body, he still ate. He still hung out. But he was also very glowy and all that. Yeah.
Ooh, glowy.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, no.
that is it. Eat your heart out, Thomas Aquinas. That's my theological explanation of the glorified body of Jesus Christ. Glowy. Luffy is God. Welcome, Luffy is God.
Well, we see that in Gandalf too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, whenever they first meet up with him again.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's glowy. He glows.
Yeah, he glows. Luffy is God. Thank you. Welcome, Luffy. Always good to see you. Gandalf is like Doctor Who. He regenerates. In one sentence. Okay. And sort of Poopa Scuba says, my opinions equals my truth.
Oh, dear.
Hildington says, but M&M's fell through his hands. Oh my goodness. Welcome, Sultan Al-Fahim. It's not often we get a sultan in our chat. We've got polar bears. We sometimes have cats, but we now have a sultan. Welcome. Gene Nolan says, I hate my truth. The truth only. And people are saying hi to the sultan. Well, welcome. Well, we're going to now get to the... Oops, let me change my banner. It is chapter 6. Here we go. A very exciting banner there. Woo! Chapter 6. Yay! The King of the Golden Hall. Dun, 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 dun.
Did they not pick the perfect score for the people of Rohan? I mean, oh my God.
I'll tell you what. Off topic for 3 seconds. When it was Return of the King, and Theoden's like going, blah, blah, we're going to do this, Rohirrim. And then you see the whole line of horses start to go, and that music goes.
Oh, my God.
I cried.
Goosebumps.
I didn't have goosebumps. I cried. Like, tears poured down my face. And I know, well, Steve's not here to call me a wuss, or his words, pansy. But, yes, I cried. It was so beautiful.
I screamed yes in the theater, and I think everybody wanted to throw their popcorn at me. But
Rohirrim,
get him!
Yes, and it's loads of fun because as they go in to the old hall, they're like, "Well, you can come in, but any weapon you bear, you must leave on the threshold." And so they come in, and like, little do they know.
I feel a glowing moment coming on.
Yeah, we gotta glow. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Boy. So anyway, so they're minding their own business, and okay, they sit and talk for like forever. It's like, oh, for goodness sake, just walk in the friggin' door. Okay, and he gives him the sword, Gandalf does, but I think he kept his staff. In the movie, they made it like, oh, I'm an old man, but in this, I think he just kind of keeps it. It's like, well, whatever. Okay, no, here it is. Your staff, he said to Gandalf. Forgive me, but that too must be left at the doors. Foolishness, says Gandalf. Prudence is one thing, but discourtesy is another. I am old. If I may not lean on my stick as I go, then I will sit out here. So,
I mean, that was
he
pretty
did do
good. Pretty good play.
well done. Yeah. Oh, hello, Calvin. They need to update the effects in the film and the Harry Potter flicks too. I would say yes and no, because even though perhaps they may be a bit dated, so, to me that's
still
also
pretty good on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
For me, anyways.
Yeah, and they're partly the charm of it, and sometimes when they update things, they don't. It almost looks more cartoony.
Well, you don't want to be able to be
yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's CG for sure. You know, you don't want to have that mentality.
Yeah.
But I do understand the sentiment, absolutely. And then we get to see Wormtongue being Wormtonguey.
Boo. Boo hiss. Boo.
And holy crud, they go on and on and on. And Wormtongue's like, oh, you suck. And then Gandalf's like, the courtesy of your hall is somewhat lessened of late.
Yeah.
And then they decide to start saying a poem.
Oh no, not a poem.
Glibly strode a pace forward and said a poem. And, rather Gandalf said the poem. And then, casting his tattered cloak aside, he said, I use tide, and boom!
And he glows. Oh
And he
no, he's
glowed.
glowing
A glow
again.
Yeah, and then Wormtongue hisses, did I not counsel you, Lord, to forbid his staff? And there was a flash as if lightning had cloven the roof. Then all was silent. And I love
Darn that long, hard, white staff. Okay, there we go.
Too much wood for one hall. Just saying.
There we go.
Sir Cooper says, I paid good money for this stick. And then, because everything has to be a pronouncement when they're not doing a poem, now, Theoden, son of Thangel, will you hearken to me? 500,000 paragraphs later, too long have you sat in shadows and trusted the twisted tales and crooked promptings. And slowly Theoden left his chair, and a faint light grew in the hall. We're getting the glowing. We're
Yay!
glowing.
Oh no.
Woo!
And then Gandalf goes, open, the Lord of the Mark comes forth. Yay! And then he says to Éowyn, hey, Éowyn, go. Éowyn's sister, daughter, the time for fear is past. Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Pause here, but let's say something a little bit inappropriate. Every time he says something like sister, daughter, I'm kind of like, is this like a Kentucky thing or something?
Yeah, I know. It's like,
my sister and my daughter.
This is my uncle and my son. Okay, yeah, we got it. Oh, Lordy.
it's like, what?
Yeah. But to be fair, in their culture, he meant like the daughter of my sister. But
Yeah.
come on. We all had a giggle there.
Well, and it's all funny because, you always, I don't know why, but because Lord of the Rings is very, very patriarchal, I always, until I start reading it again, I always think of Éowyn and Éomer as his brother's kids, but they're actually his sister's kids. And I don't know why. I just always think of it like that until I reread it. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Because you have internalized misogyny.
I know.
No, we're not doing. No, we're not doing Game of Thrones, Teresa. Wrong book.
Yeah, Sultan Al-Fahim says Alabama Rising.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna dwell too long on Theoden here and about Gandalf and his glowing and all that, because we kind of went over that in the previous chapter. Let's spend a moment to talk about one of my favorite characters in the whole trilogy, which is none other than Lady Eowyn. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, strong woman character before wokeness was a thing, right? I mean, she did something freaking amazing that no man could do.
Yeah.
I mean, how
Mhm.
awesome is that? And we didn't need it thrown in our face saying that women are all this and all that and men suck. It was just a really cool thing.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know I'm going to jump ahead, but the the one thing that really hit me is when she was practicing with the sword, and it was like, just because women don't fight doesn't mean they can't die by the sword.
Yeah. That's a good saying. It's true.
Yeah. That's why we need Second Amendment, by golly.
That's right.
um, okay, well, let's see how our friend Tolkien describes Eowyn. Very fair was her face, and her long hair was like a river of gold. Slender and tall she was in her white robe girt with silver, but strong she seemed, and stern as steel, a daughter of kings. Thus Aragorn, for the first time in the full light of day, beheld Eowyn, Lady of Rohan, and thought her fair, fair and cold, like a morning of pale spring that is not yet come to womanhood.
It's kind of what they gave that line to Grima in the movie,
Yeah.
Mhm. But you must realize too that she became strong because she was watching her uncle deteriorate, and her brother was away all the time. So who did that leave to be strong
Yeah.
Yeah.
and to harden her heart, actually, because everything was, quote unquote, depending on her to keep the realm halfway in balance against Wormtongue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I always related to her, or pitied her rather, because she was a character who hypothetically should have been protected. Her uncle should have protected her. She was an orphan. Her brother should have protected her. And she was left all alone and had this worm tongue getting into her head.
Yeah. But she
Mhm.
never fully let him in, and she was so strong
No.
for that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I really like her, but I can also really relate to her despair. I think it makes complete sense. And we're going to talk about this when we get to Return of the King, how she really truly comes to heal from all of that, because even after she kills the Witch King in the
Yeah.
Return of the King,
Mhm.
she is still not happy that she has a darkness in her heart that doesn't really truly get healed until the
Well,
houses of healing.
I
Yeah.
think it's because she's seen so much death,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then she sees nothing but darkness around her,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and the falling away, like I said, the falling away of her uncle, uh, underneath all of the evil that was Wormtongue, and Mr. Slither. Oh, that's what I think of him. That's what I call him, Mr. Slither. Ugh. It's just slimy, and that would make you cynical. That would
Yeah.
make you harden your heart.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely.
And then you add to it being a woman,
Yep.
that was an extra feeling of weakness, which is why what she said in the movie, I don't believe she said that in the books, about the reason why she wanted to be so trained with a sword.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but it's an excellent line, and it was very true.
But it was very in character, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
you think about it back then. Women were a trade. Basically,
Correct.
it was like a marriage to whoever to strengthen your kingdom, to do what, and they had no say.
Yeah.
But yet, when war broke out, it was nothing for tons of peasants and women and children to be killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had absolutely no protection. Of course, women very vulnerable to rape
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. Back in the time when it really did kind of suck, when there wasn't equality, uh, and some of it was just very basically the nature of who you were. The women just weren't strong enough,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that's just the way it was. I like what we're going to be seeing as we continue to follow Aowen and why she actually falls for Aragorn, because they make it clear in Return of the King, because my most brilliant, most beloved, and perfect Faramir actually diagnoses that she wasn't actually in love with she wasn't in love with Aragorn. She was in love with the idea of what he represented to her.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Faramir is never wrong. So there we are.
Oh my goodness.
Well, no, but it's true. I mean, he does say it. Of course, this is the first dude that's not related to her that has some sympathy, empathy to her, and she mistook it for love. There's something very poignant that Theoden says after he has the light come literally and shine upon him. He says, "Alas, that these evil days should be mine and should come in my old age instead of the peace which I have earned. Alas for Boromir the brave. The young perish and the old linger withering." Very sad.
Yeah.
And the fact that he mourns a little bit for Boromir, reminding us that these people actually knew each other.
Yeah. They were allies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that is true in any war when you look back on it through history. That like he says, it's sad that this happens and the young die and the old are left.
Yeah.
yeah. And he's right. He should just be sitting around the fire with a bunch of grandkids, great grandkids, and having an old winch to keep him warm at night. You know, he doesn't be needing this. He doesn't be needing this. And losing his son, his son and heir.
Well, and he was so out of it that he didn't even get to say goodbye to his son, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. My gosh. Very well
Damn that
done. Yeah.
Sauron.
And Worm Tongue.
Stupid worm tongue. Éomer is actually here at this scene in the book. I understand why they wanted to hold it off for dramatic purposes, but he is actually there.
Mm-hmm.
And he has Theoden's sword. And he's like, "What? To lay at your feet, my lord." Éomer kneels before him, and Gandalf goes, "Will you not take the sword?" Slowly Theoden stretched forth his hand. As his fingers took the hilt, it seemed to the watchers that firmness and strength returned to his thin arm. Suddenly he lifted the blade and swung it, shimmering and whistling in the air. Then he gave a great cry. His voice rang clear as he chanted in the tongue of Rohan, a call to arms, because we have to have poetry. But yeah, wow. But how cool is that?
Amazing. Like, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and I know they kind of over dramatize it, but the whole Theoden going from sick and weak to strong is such a great feel good moment, and I just love that scene. Love it. In the book, it feels good, but it feels like it's a little bit less not, I don't know if I want to say dramatic, but, you know, but it does feel a little bit less in the book than it does in the movie. That's one of the few times that I feel that way. But man, it just gives you the feels, you know?
Yeah. Well, they did a very good job of illustrating the imagery with the light and the music and the way they do that slow motion grabbing the sword.
Oh yeah.
Then Gandalf, the King Theoden asks, he asks Gandalf, "What is your counsel?" And he says, "You have already taken it to put your trust in Éomer." Whoa. You see, there we go. So Gandalf is guiding. He's not taking over.
Yeah.
And he's like, Éomer kind of takes the lead on some of this strategy where they go into some details about the horses go here, they all go there, etc. But it's like the family, they're all just so awesome.
Yeah. Trust your nephew. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of like Rennie when they kicked Wormtongue down the stairs. And I was in the theater and I went, yes, really loud.
Yeah.
You know, it's a feel good moment. Screw that guy. He's a backstabber.
Yeah. And the way that they were talking about Wormtongue like slithering on his belly, and Éomer goes, "Too long have you watched Éowyn under your eyelids and haunted her steps." Ew, we know what he meant. Pervert.
Yeah. So
He's
gross.
Stalker.
Like when you guys
Ooh.
watch him in the movie, and how he interacts with her, it really is creepy. And it's just like, ew, get away from her. Ew, ew. You know, just can't help it.
Brad Dourif is amazing actor.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Amazing actor.
And you forget that he's the voice of Chucky. It just cracks me up.
Chucky!
That's right.
Can you imagine that? All of a sudden a knife comes out.
Time to die, Éowyn.
Yes.
Yeah. Then after they kick him out, though they give him a horse. I wouldn't give him a horse. He sucks. Then they all go and have a party. We got some food, certain food.
Woo-woo.
Snorta Poopa says, "More poetry. Yay! Gadfly fiction. Definitely the poetry is what makes the book so much like a proper mythology. It takes patterns from all the epics, Gilgamesh, Iliad, Odyssey, Aeneid, Beowulf, etc." Good point.
Very well said. It's basically like England's version of like mythos, you know? I like that.
Yeah.
Well, yes, because you figure how many generations was handed down through song.
Yeah.
That was their history.
Mm-hmm.
Was the recounting through song before the written word.
Yeah. It wasn't until a few hundred years ago that these things were primarily through books, and that was with the advent of the printing press. Because it wasn't practical.
Yeah, it takes forever to write stuff down on parchment paper, you know?
And then copy it. You had to have like 500 monks to do one copy. And it's like, come on, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do love the fact that they go and they have a big old party and they all drink, and Éowyn came forth bearing wine. She says something in Rohirrim, "Receive this cup," to Theoden, "and drink in happy hour." Theoden drank from the cup, and as she stood before Aragorn, she paused suddenly and looked upon him, and her eyes were shining. And he looked down upon her fair face and smiled, but as he took the cup, his hand met hers, and he knew that she trembled at the touch. "Hail, Aragorn, son of Arathorn," she said. "Hail, Lady of Rohan," he answered, but his face was now troubled, and he did not smile.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Well, this is where Aragorn is so awesome. He sees this young lady. She's like, "Hey, here's some wine." And he's like, "Hey," and he smiles like a normal person.
Yeah.
But then when he notices, oops, this chick is kind of digging me. I wasn't smiling. I wasn't doing that. I didn't. Yeah, so
I love my girl. I'm not idiot.
Yeah. But that also says a little bit about Aragorn, that he's aware of that. Because sometimes perhaps some men
don't
aren't
pick
always
up on it.
aware. Yeah, there was a situation once among a group of friends of mine at church where it's like, he's in love with me. He's in love. Everyone thought this one guy was in love with everyone. I'm like, he can't be in love with all of us. And all it turned out to be was he was just very polite.
Yeah.
and smiled all the time. And it's like, okay, maybe we're just not used to that. Or that's often women will read into that. But the fact that Aragorn, he when he was smiling all down at her, he was like, I'm not trying to lead her on. Then he's like, oh, okay, I'm not going to smile anymore. This chick is kind of digging me and I'm not going to do that.
Well, and I think that speaks volumes of his character, because he's like, oh, I don't want to lead her on. I don't want to, make her think that I'm, my feelings for her are the same as hers for me. It's not reciprocated. And I really appreciate that about him, because he doesn't do that. And there are some men that don't get that. And by not getting that, they inherently lead like women on. And it's like, oh, crap, you didn't realize you need to probably not be so nice, because you're right, some women do take kindness for flirting, and that's not necessarily what it is.
Exactly.
So he recognized it.
And sometimes women need to chill out too, but you're right, that does say something about his character, that he was aware of that.
So he was trying to be kind by not being so warm and welcoming to those feelings.
Yeah, and it was also
a little more standoffish.
Exactly.
Not to dampen her hopes, but in a cruel way, but to
just kind of step off a little bit,
Yes.
Yeah, and also good writing on Tolkien's part, that he showed us right here that Aragorn wasn't interested, but she is, so that's going to be part of the story. Why isn't Aragorn interested? If you blinked and missed it, you forgot he has a fiance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of Poopa says, a woman once fell in love with me, but fortunately she received therapy and got Keck's talking about Wormtongue. Yeah, he was creepy, kind of like when Teresa is talking about Faramir.
Oh, Teresa, are you creepy?
Apologize. You hear me? I do not apologize.
There's but I can understand that, because there are some people that are just kind, and people take it the wrong way as interest, where they're just them.
They're just being friendly. That's their personality.
Yeah, that's just part of their makeup.
Yeah.
And I think in our day and age, there's not a lot of that, so people misdrew it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, says Monk collapses over his desk. Copiers down. Yes, I've seen that. That's a good joke. Funny like hi, hello. Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that.
There's a funny meme that goes along with that, where you just see this monk splat falling over, probably exhausted. 20 like hype, yay! And Joaquin Stark, hello, welcome. 120-year age difference. Yes, there is.
Yes.
Arwen is thousands of years old. Aragorn is late 80s or so. Yes. Arwen is a cradle robber. Absolutely.
He likes older women.
Nothing wrong with
what
that.
can I say?
He's a cougar.
That's right. I just love the Arwen and Aragorn romance thing, and it's very. I love how it's very reminiscent of Beren and Luthien, and it just I love it,
and very sad, very very sad.
Yeah,
that's the way it ends up, because he dies. Well, because that's what happens with people. People die.
Yeah.
When they're all together, and the person that's left behind, it is very sad. Now, there is something incredibly cool that happens here, where when they had all drunk, the king went down to the halls and blah, blah. Behold, I go forth, because he's going to go off. I have no child. My son is slain. I name Éomer, my sister's son, to be my heir. So he makes it all official.
Oh, but I love that part.
Yeah. I We love him.
Yeah.
Yay.
But Aemir is going to be going off with him to fight. But to someone I must now entrust my people that I leave behind to rule them in my place. Which one of you will stay? No man spoke. Is there no one whom you would name? In whom do my people trust? And Hama rather, says, in the house of Earl. But Aemir I cannot spare, nor would he stay, and he is the last of the house. I said not Aemir, answered Hama, and he is not the last. There is Eowyn, daughter of Aemon, his sister. She is fearless and high-hearted. All love her. Let her be as lord to the Erlingas while we are gone.
I love that.
Yay.
It is so awesome. And Eowyn knelt before him and received from him a sword and a fair corselet. So she was left in charge and that she was trusted. Also, maybe, perhaps, causing some controversy in Return of the King, which we will get to.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was entrusted to stay behind and protect the people of Rohan.
Oh, Culture Casino.
Yeah. Welcome, Culture Casino. Welcome to Miss Martin Music.
Hi, Carshel.
Yep.
It's the hair. It's the hair.
Do the flip, dude. Do the hair flip.
Oh gosh, the hair. Speaking of Jesus, we have the Jesus hair going on here. Yeah, but the fact that they had such respect for Eowyn that they would call for a woman to rule them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like I said,
But
this is before the whole woke agenda. So I just love that it's in an older story where it's not thrown in your face. It's just part of the story.
Yes. And they have seen her do that because she has been holding it all together in the meantime. So they already know she is capable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then check this out. As they leave, alone Eowyn stood before the doors of the house at the stairs head. The sword was set upright before her, and her hands were laid upon the hilt. She was clad now in mail and shone like silver in the sun. Yay!
Glowy
Wow,
moment.
I just love
Glowy
it.
moment.
She got a glow up.
She got a glow. We got glowy. We got glowy in the house. Yay! How cool is that image? My gosh.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate Tolkien's descriptiveness in his books. I mean, he really paints a picture, and there's not a whole lot of questions as to how stuff looks or feels, or even tastes sometimes, because you can literally picture all of this because he's just so good at laying out these descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it.
Yeah. Sort of poopish. Shiny girly. Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh. Matt Wilkins, I'm eating a tub of ice cream on my couch and crying right now. It is so sweet.
Oh.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Okay. Is the talk sweet or the ice cream, Matt? Where are you going with this one?
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
Can't it be both? No, just kidding.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're also sweet and glowy.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, and Theoden also makes it official. He gives Shadowfax to Gandalf.
Yeah, because remember, I want to say he was kind of mad at Gandalf at first. Like, what the hell, bro? You took my horse.
It's like, well, you couldn't use it, so guess what? Yeah.
Yeah, you're just sitting around being worm-tongued.
Oh my gosh, Teresa.
I'm sorry. Oh, Dalek.
That was so good.
451. Oh gosh, I'm traumatized actually by that image. Yeah.
He got tongued. Okay, yeah. Oh, we're going with that
I'm
one.
picturing
All right.
some Gene Simmons action when you say that.
Yeah, that's where my head went too, Rennie. It was like, yeah, a foot
Yeah.
long
Woo!
tongue, and yeah, okay, not going there.
Well, I
Oh,
couldn't just like hold the image in my head and suffer alone. It's not fair.
oh. Well, we had to have one more glow up. Finally, after he gets Shadowfax, then Gandalf's white robe shone dazzling in the sun, and Aragorn goes, "Behold the white rider." Because, we have to make proclamations. There are so many proclamations in this chapter.
Oh my gosh,
Like dun dun
yes.
dun
You're so
dun,
right.
glow, glow, glow.
Glow! He's glowing! The sun is shining!
And then like the trumpet sound and make it like even more like official.
yeah, the trumpet sounded.
You get
The horses reared and neighed. And off they go, thundering into the west. And far over the plain, Eowyn saw the glitter of their spears. Okay, so the spears had got to glow up as she stood still, alone before the doors of the silent house. That's a little bit of a melancholic ending to this.
Yeah. Because she feels abandoned, I think, or like, left alone to her own devices.
Yeah.
And she doesn't realize her own strength,
Exactly. Well, to be fair to her, she also doesn't know if they're all going to die.
Yeah, true. Like, will I ever see my uncle and my brother again?
Yeah.
So.
And what will happen if they fail?
Yeah.
Rape, plunder, and murder. PCAT says, is this the two towers or hot nights at the two brothels?
Oh, dear.
Well,
it's the glow. It's the glow. You can't help it. It's the glow.
Yeah,
that's right.
We endorse glowing here at Miss Martin Music. We endorse
That's right.
Glowing. And thus we come to an end of the King of the Golden Hall, or whatever it was. So, any final thoughts on this chapter, Rennie?
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. I just love it. I love the whole, it's different in the book because Gandalf, instead of like, casting a spell and like, beating Saruman out of Theoden's head, so to speak, with the staff, he's just talking reason to Theoden and helping him to get over his sickness, like by just having a conversation. And I think it's really neat. And I think it's really awesome to see that relationship that they have, because you don't know that before the chapter. And I think it's awesome to see the faith and the strength in Eowyn, as well as Éomer. Those are two of my favorite characters. So, I really think that they're a great brother sister combo. And I just really like a lot of the dynamics, and I love that you get to learn so much about Rohan in this chapter. Still not, everything, but it's a really awesome chapter.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. How about you, Lady Toriel?
Yes, I love the dynamics with the brother and the sister, because they're the ones basically who have been holding the realm together, whereas Wormtongue has been wheedling his way in and trying to destroy any faith that they had and trying to get them to the other side. And they are so strong-willed in their beliefs that they're not going to let that happen. And for Eowyn to actually hold it together in the face of him lurking and being so icky around her and trying to persuade her, and you see the strength in her and her brother, that it's amazing, because that's the only way that Rohan did not fall.
Yeah.
Because if they hadn't been strong, Rohan would have fallen way before that.
Good point. Absolutely. Well, I think we've got the final word from Liquid Blake. Hello, Liquid Blake. Welcome to Mr. Martin Muses today. Dry cleaning wouldn't have been cheap back then. That white outfit of Gandalf's would be a nightmare to keep clean around all those horses.
Oh dear, yes.
Yes. And Snortapoopa says he uses magic bleach. All right, and Liquid Blake, they really missed a cross promotion in the movies. Then Gandalf endorses some laundry detergent mid battle could have been huge. They never listen to us, do they?
No.
They could have done a commercial like that, or at least done a good advertisement for light bulbs. I tell you what.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just Mr. Clean magic marker, magic
Yeah.
eraser. You just take
Oh,
that
yeah.
sucker.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. White robes instantly.
There we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keck says the A1 was at Helm's Deep in the movie. That was referring back to something Snortapoopa says. We might talk about that next time when we have Helm's Deep. She was, but they did cut the part where she was fighting orcs. I think that was a bit much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Snortapoopa, using scrubbing brushes made from hobbit foot hair helps too.
Oh
You heard it here first at Miss Martin Muses.
Yeah. That conjures up a image, doesn't it? Yes. Okay.
It makes me want to get the best laundry detergent here at Miss Martin Muses.
That's right.
Okay, well, we are going to be bringing this to a close. We're going to be bringing this to a close. Thank you for everyone being here today in our discussion. I am not certain about next week. Just stay tuned on my channel or another channel, or not my
in Twitter. Yeah.
Thank you. Not another channel. Yeah, on Twitter. You just don't know what's going to be happening. Going on the first Saturday might be the second Saturday over at the Nerd Fathers, so we shall see. But we will be reading. We will be doing the Helm's Deep and the one after that. I forget what the one after that is. So thank you for everyone for being here. We had loads of people come into the chat. If I missed you or didn't greet you, I do sincerely apologize, but we do love the chat here at Miss Martin Muses, especially on this Two Towers one. We have a lot of really funny comments and insightful comments. You all keep us informed. It's loads of fun, and we love you all. So before we end, where can we find you, Rennie?
Well, today I will be on Mr. Brown Alliance at 5 p.m. Central, and we are talking about one of my all-time favorite action movies, The Expendables.
Yeah,
I love me some Stallone, so yes, very excited about that. Typically, they're every Saturday about 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. Central, and then just kind of, sporadically, just hop on here and there. But that's my thing at the end of the week, and yeah. This has been a lot of fun. I love talking about Tolkien. So thank you so much for having me on, Teresa.
Oh, always a pleasure. How about you, lady?
You can find me on Twitter. It's Lady Toriel1. I also have a channel, Lady Toriel. Just very nice, fun stuff most of the time. Unless somebody gets uppity on Twitter, and you might see a not a nice comment or two once in a while, but that's very rarely. Teresa, thank you for having me on. I appreciate anytime I can be on your streams.
Oh, well, I'm so happy to have you here.
I enjoy it very much talking to you, Rennie, and the absentee Viking right now.
The Sleeping Beauty.
Yes.
Oh,
I picture him as Gimli snoring in his armor at the side of a tree. Okay.
Oh my gosh, yes, like a Rip Van Winkle kind of thing.
Or...
Yeah, there we go.
Poor Steve, he's not here to defend himself, but that's okay. We don't care.
That's okay. I'll hear about it. Trust me. But
I know he'll be like, "What did you guys mean by that?"
Yeah, he'll find us. He'll find us. He will always find us.
It's that Norway Viking thing going on. I can't help it.
Right.
Psychic.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it, and hopefully you'll catch me on different streams if I'm invited. I enjoy talking to people, and I appreciate you having me on, Teresa.
Oh, great. Well, excellent. And stay tuned for sure. I'm going to be having a stream this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central with special guests, Bigglesnet and my nerdy home, Steph Annie. We're going to be talking about what the TV series Once Upon a Time. It's the 10-year anniversary, so we're going to be talking about our favorite things about that. So please feel free to go ahead and stay tuned. I'm sorry, I just saw this. Steek is a dwarf, confirmed. Snortapoopa says that. Oh my
Oh no.
Yeah, and then Ancient One. And so we find out that Steeg Kenobi was lurking in secret all along. Listen, okay, we're in trouble now. He doesn't frighten me. He doesn't frighten me.
Oh dear.
Okay, well, that's great, everyone. Well, have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain, if you are out in the middle of the woods, be certain to bring your magic bleach.